Hi guys, right, we're back on the build, back on the custom 959 build. So I'm just out of this zoom at the moment, I'll zoom back in a minute when we start to build something. Yeah, we've got the rear gearbox built. There's a few tiny little parts need bolting on, but yeah, just to let you know, we're back on the build. If you've seen the other videos, the body's dropped, the body's here, decals are here, they're ready to go off to be painted. So that's another good little milestone done. And really all we're going to do is just pick up the manual and carry on. So I'll zoom in and we'll get going. Right, so that's where we are in the manual. We have built the gearbox and I've just finished off at this stage here. There's something to fit and I noticed there was a hop up. So this will be the first hop up, or second actually. We've done the motor mounts. This will be the second hop up. This one's a Spec R rear damper stay. I don't think Tamiya do one of these. So obviously I was just looking to match the blue. So these were super cheap on RC Mart. So I picked one of these up. Again, it's something you could put on backwards. But yeah, okay. So we need this part. We also need a couple of balls. I don't know what they call those things. Ball? I don't know, I'm going to call them balls. Everyone can laugh if they want, but that's what they are. Yeah. Right, so two of those. This is where these are really handy for this screwing these little ball. I'm going to call them balls again. Screwing these in. So let's just get this the right way around for a start. So they're going in the top part there. So I'm just going to see how easy these are to start. I need to just get it to start biting. I'm sure this is the right size, yeah. Right, that's tight enough. It's quite difficult with, so you've got a bit of leverage on this. You could easily over tighten those. And in fact, that one's just a little bit out by the looks of things. It could still go in further. You just don't want to strip them, so. Yeah, right, very good. Right, so instructions showing this part here. I only just noticed earlier on. This is a Spec R aluminium rear damper stay blue, and it's SPR MF-06. And they've given you in the bag the parts for screwing up dampers, but I don't know what parts will be in the standard kit for doing that, but I'm just going to keep these separate. You can cut the bag separately, so I'm going to cut that separately. And for the first time I'm making use of this new tool stand I've got, which is I'm really pleased with this tool stand. Came yesterday, put it together. It's much better than I had on my tools in various places. This is a nice bit of kit made out of metal. So I'll put a link in the description for that. It's a really nice bit of kit, solid as well, not like the plastic ones. So I just want to keep these together. I might actually make myself a little tin for hop ups in a minute. Just bounce off a few little bits hanging around. Right, let's get this the right way up now. Okay, so we've got it the right way up, and we're going to make sure we get this the right way around. So it looks like it goes that way, and we need BA6. That's the same screws as we've been using all along. Let's get that one started. Nice to see a bit of shiny blue, because that was the whole point. Obviously the hop-ups make a big part of this build. Yeah, I just have a first sort of feeling there where I really didn't like the crosshead screwdrivers. Compared, I mean, you get used to the proper socket head screws, and yeah, these are hard to come back to, if I'm honest. The screwdriver slips a bit. You're not sure if you've got it torqued right. Just gonna double check. Yeah, that one is good. Yeah, they're good. Right, so there we are. So that's the end of that top part of the build. Next part is talking about servos. Okay. So it's quite soon to come on to servos. Didn't expect to go on to servos at that rate. Okay, that's the sprue you need, obviously. We obviously need the servo as well. Unusual thing to do at this stage, really. I haven't got any way of powering it. I'd obviously like to put the horn on with some power to the servo, make sure it's in the middle. I might have to do that, because if you look on the next page, you're actually going to start attaching this all to the steering linkages and everything. So at some stage you're going to be putting this together with something, and you really don't want to be get the servo miles out. You want it powered up, really. Worst case scenario, I'll bring a car over and just power it from there, plug it into the receiver. But yeah, at this stage here, I would want this powered normally. Yeah, so it tells us what parts to get, so we'll get these off first. I'll worry about powering it when I need to. And I'm going to need a servo for this, so just grab the servo. Okay, so I've got the servo. It's a real nice high performance race servo, Alturn one. This was actually going on another project, but I had it hanging around, so thought we'd use it. So let's pop this out. Let's have a look. Oh, it's packaged up nicely. And the next bit will get a little bit messy. I'm going to have to bring another car over, and I'm going to plug it in. Once we've got the right horn on it and stuff, I'm going to plug it in and make sure it's centered. So for now, we need to figure out which one of these to use. Can't remember how many this is in terms of teeth, but that's it there. You can just test it. And I have got my sprue clippers down. So these are proper Tamiya sprue clippers. They're expensive, but you shouldn't have to do any, if you use them properly, you shouldn't have to clean anything off. So these are for modelling, so it saves you cleaning everything off afterwards. Looks like we need that part, although it does show it slightly different on the instructions. It just shows it with slightly different holes in it, but put that out of the way for the minute. I'm just going to build it up and mock it up to start off with. So we'll get it in the middle. That looks like the middle, and then that's that part. And then we need this ring. Need that part. You're never going to get this in the middle if you don't know where the middle is. I'll have to power that in a minute and just see where we are. I think it's just a ring that fits. Where's that? That's that way down. Parts. Now this part is a B part. I think there is another part somewhere. What's this sprue look like? Oh, it's the chassis lengthening sprue. Okay. There we are, it doesn't matter, it's just this sprue here. Doesn't matter if you get caught out at the end of the day, as long as you realise you're getting caught out. So I need this part here, which does look like the diagram. So I'm going to snip that off and then we can crack on. Okay, now this will obviously go together a lot easier with the right part. I take this part off, which was wrong, that was wrong. And we'll put this part on. Okay, so that's all snapped together. That's a bit loose. We'll leave that off for a sec, because I still want to get these ball joints on. Right, holes look miles bigger. Okay, we'll call that a minor glitch. Okay, put this back in here. We should now start having something that looks like the diagram, which should be something along these lines. Miles off those. Yeah, it's miles off either way. I'm not going to get it right until I power the servo up. I can trim it out obviously, but get it as good as you can. So we'll put that down there. So that's what you're looking at, and then they give you this. That's not that part actually. It's from the servo section. So it's P1, which is this little part here. So it's not a bearing. That's what was throwing me. I thought it was some sort of bearing. If you look at that now, this parts tray, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 left, and that's going to be the 4 I've got here. So we're back on track. For now, I think I will screw this up for now, just to keep it together. So I'll put this in here. Just dropped it in there. For the sake of keeping it together, I'm going to do that. Just screw this up. Very loose. I'm not going to do it up totally. Okay, right, next up I'm going to have to make a bit of a mess. I'm going to put these instructions away for a minute, because all I need to do is center this servo, which I'm going to need another car for, so I'll be back with another car. Okay, so we've got action on the Hornet. It's got an open receiver on it and the steering's working, so pop this all off. I got lucky and hit the right channel on the Fly Sky, and I can't recommend enough not having one of these Fly Skies. They're awful things. Right, let's plug that in. I'm just going to centre up. Now I've got to obviously make sure the steering trims are set, which they're not. And this is, like I said, it's not a very nice controller, so the way it sets the trims is not very nice. The question is, can I trim out? I can trim it all that way, and trim it all that way. That should work, but it's not going to leave me in trim. I mean, I'm looking at about trim 10 before I'm even right, so let's just see if we can get it any better. I think it's the spline it's on. That's the middle. Right, so I want this to try and go closer to the middle, and I don't think I can get it any better. Sometimes with these, yeah, I can get it there. Let's try and get this as close to the bottom as possible. So I've got a choice of that, which is there. I've got a choice of that, which is on the other side. I've had this before on Tamiyas, and there's just nothing you can do about it. You have to trim it out, which is a shame. I'd like to, I'd like to get it crack on, but as long as it'll trim out, it'll be okay. I'm just doing it by eye, but it looks to me as if it needs to be about 16 before it comes level. And that gives me another 15 points on the controller to move it. So, that much. But it's not much in real life, it doesn't move that much. So, it's a shame I'm going to have to set off with a controller that's not trimmed in 0, and I don't like that, but there's not a lot I can do about it. Servo's the right way around, it's facing upwards, it's close to the middle. Actually, to be fair, I might be able to trim that a bit better than I did. And it annoyingly tells you how to square it up, but there's just nothing you can do about it if you can't do it. So I'm not convinced about the screw I'm using, if I'm honest. Yeah. I've got my own stock of Tamiya screws. Just got anything here that'll do the job. See if this has got the right thread on it. These have come from kits in the past, and I'd rather have an actual proper thread into metal, and that feels right. Better. Yeah, much better. It's a bit of slop on the. It's a bit of slop on the spline, but right. There's literally nothing I can do about it. It looks to me as if it needs to be on about 18 to get it roughly straight. And I wouldn't put it past it to be the fly size stuff, if I'm honest with you, as well. Doing weird things with centering the servo, because I don't get on with them at all. The trim seems to move. That's what I don't like about it. 1 minute it's going straight, then the trim moves, and that just can't be right. So I'm fairly sure I'm all good here now. I don't know how long we're going to need to leave this set up, because we've got that centered, even though it's off. But no, I think we can disconnect that now, and then we can clear the bench, get back to where we were. Right, that took a lot longer than it should have done, and hopefully I'll have cut out most of that. For the people who, well, we wouldn't have seen it because I've probably cut it out. I had a nightmare trimming this servo to the middle. It just wouldn't go to the middle, so I've ended up with it best I can get it. So, moving on. Everything's on there though, we're all ready to go. Moving on. Try not to have a rant there about fly sky receivers, but to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of them at all. Not ever since I got it. I've had nothing but the receivers are cheap, but the controller is awful. Overly complicated. Ball parts. I'm guessing bring A17 of these. How many we're making up? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll be those 4. That'll be those 4. I was under the impression I had hop-ups for it, but I didn't. I thought they were in the kit, but they're not. So looks like we are building these after all. That's two in there. I think these are both the same length. This is where I can make one different, take that trim out on the steering, but I'm not gonna. It's not the right way to do it. So this is gonna hurt my hands. These little things are tough on your hands to twist on. We've got these, and we just want them equally spaced on. And whichever way you rub it, this does hurt your fingers. There's a lot of twisting going on, but I'll grab them with a pair of pliers at some point if I have to, which I think I'm going to need to. And all you're doing is making it up so it's the same length as this. Sometimes you get lucky just by twisting them together and you pretty much land where you need to be. with a saying in the trade, which was, it's called spot bollock on, and I'd say that's pretty much where that is. It's just a tiny bit off. Yeah, okay, so that's one done. Didn't need to use any pliers on that, just twist them together. Don't always get that lucky. So we did get so lucky on that one, so we've ended up with one being in the right place and the other one being out. So I'm gonna have to grab these with something just to twist the other end on. It's not much, but a bit stiffer than they were before. Not far off there now, I don't think. Lost a bit of paint on it, and I'll dab a bit of magic marker on that. That'll get rid of that. That's pretty much the way you want it. You just come round a little bit. You have one facing up, one facing down according to this. Yeah, I lost a little bit of paint off that. You could put a bit of rag on that and stop that from happening. What you can do though, see that glinting, just cover it over. This is obviously permanent. Good as new. Hop up time. So this is the aluminium servo mount blue, and it's SPR TM Spec R. Was expecting to get a Tamiya one, but this one, I think it was like £1.94 with some crazy reduction on it. And to be honest with you, I just thought, why not, you know? I'm not sure why we need an actual hop-up servo mount, but for that price, it was stupid not to get it. They wouldn't make a hop-up servo mount unless there was some reason for the original not being that great. So I'm not sure what that is. Somebody might be able to tell me. And they've given us 4 screws, so we're going to be replacing, looks to these, we'll be using different screws. So we're going to end up with spare screws in amongst the kit, and that's just no big deal. It really isn't. If you start using hop-ups with screws, you're bound to have spare screws. You know, it's not a problem. Although there's 5 here. Why is there 5? Don't know, maybe a spare. So we've got this part, and I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know where it goes. Whether it goes on the bottom, the top. I'll just have to. This is carbon fibre, so I'm not entirely sure what it. I suppose it could give you some height on it if you needed to lift it up, but I'll put it on anyway. We'll see if it causes any problems later. I think it's a top plate, so I think I can't actually show you like that, but I think it goes like that. That's what I'm going to use for anyway. I'll put this carbon fibre top plate on, and I'll start bolting it down from underneath. So hopefully these screw holes are in the right place. So that's that's those two through, that's those through. So yeah, I think that's what it's for. Although there is one important part, and that's get the servo the right way up. That probably will make a difference. There is a stay underneath this though, so yeah, I think we'll be okay because there's a stay there anyway. No wonder we're in trouble. They are good old proper socket heads. Right. I didn't even think. I just, you know, I thought it's all going to be Tamiya heads. It's nice to see a couple of proper screws and how much easier these going in. Right, still not done up, but I am just going to, because I've got a decent socket head for a change, I'm actually going to give some torque to these. We're going into metal. Okay, that's starting to look like a nice assembly. I like the carbon front, looks good. Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. Apart from that, it's going to be a case of popping on these ball joints by the looks of things. I don't know which way around. Let's have a look, see if we can figure this out. Hold that way, and then it wants to have one. Right, okay, yeah, so see the instructions there, it shows you which way to do it. This could be a bit hard to do from this angle. Just pop that on there and it leaves you with the way that, well, that leaves you with the diagram. You can always adjust them a little bit afterwards. So you just got to make sure you do it the right way around. It's no big deal just to give them a quick twist, you know, that's where you need to be able to adjust the trim on the servo. Though if you're going to start twisting these rods about, you're going to adjust the steering. Let's have a look and see where this goes next, because I'm starting to get to a point where this video just got a little bit longer than I want, and I don't want these videos to keep getting too long. I think, to be honest with you, we'll call that there the end of this video, because we've got the servo built. So there's that assembly up close. So it's all, that's it up close, just in case you haven't got a good idea of the hop up and stuff. I don't, this carbon fibre looks nice even if I've not used it the right way, so I'm happy with that. And it took longer than I was expecting because I had to rig up another car. So I think we'll call that this part done. You can see here we've got exactly the assembly they've asked us to build. Just looking at the next page, we essentially bolt this up and start looking at we're starting to build the front end. So we're going to leave that for the next one. It's hard to decide where to stop and start with these things, but I'm going to call that quits there, and I'll be back on for the next one, guys.